Discover how to use active imagination to tap into your subconscious, unlock creativity, and transform your life. In this video, we explore Carl Jung's powerful psychological technique, offering practical steps to connect with your inner self and overcome emotional blocks. Learn how active imagination can boost personal growth, enhance self-awareness, and spark inspiration. We'll dive into why this method works, common struggles, and actionable tips to start your journey today. Don't miss out. Subscribe, comment with "I choose active imagination," and check out our recommended resources in the description for deeper insights. Have you ever felt like there's a part of you, hidden, quiet, but full of answers, waiting to be heard? What if you could unlock that inner voice, tap into your subconscious, and find clarity, creativity, or even healing? Today, we're exploring how to use active imagination, a transformative technique from Carl Jung that can change the way you see yourself and your life. Stay with me, because in the next 30 minutes, you'll learn how to access your inner world and unleash your true potential. Let's start with a question. Have you ever noticed how life can feel like a treadmill? You're running, working, chasing goals, but deep down, something feels off. Maybe it's a sense of emptiness, a lack of inspiration, or just a vague feeling that you're not fully connected to who you are. We live in a world that pulls us outward, endless notifications, deadlines, and expectations. But what about the world inside you? That's where active imagination comes in. This isn't some fleeting trend or mystical ritual. It's a psychological tool developed by Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in modern psychology. Active imagination is like a key to your subconscious, a way to have a direct, meaningful conversation with the parts of yourself you've been ignoring. It's about discovering your own wisdom, unlocking creativity, and finding answers to questions you didn't even know you were asking. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand what active imagination is, but also how to use it to transform your life. Ready to dive into your inner world? Let's get started. So, why does this matter? Let's get real for a moment. Have you ever felt stuck? Like you're caught in a cycle of the same old problems, the same doubts, the same fears. Maybe you're wrestling with a big decision. Should you change careers, end a relationship, or take a leap of faith? Or maybe it's not even that specific. Maybe it's just a feeling, a quiet, nagging sense that something's missing. You're not alone in this. Most of us, at some point, feel disconnected from ourselves. This disconnect is more than just a fleeting mood. It's a psychological and emotional trap. Think about it. We spend so much time focused on the external world, our jobs, our phones, what other people think, that we lose touch with what's happening inside. Carl Jung believed that our subconscious is like a vast, untapped ocean. It holds memories, emotions, fears, and dreams that shape who we are and how we live. But when we ignore it, we're like sailors who never look beneath the surface of the water. We're missing out on the depths of our own minds. This shows up in all kinds of ways. Maybe you snap at someone you love because you're stressed and you don't even know why. Maybe you procrastinate on a project that matters to you, and you can't figure out what's holding you back. Or maybe you just feel empty, like you're going through the motions without really living. These are signs that your subconscious is trying to get your attention. It's like a friend who keeps calling, but you're too busy to pick up the phone. Let's paint a picture. Imagine your mind as a vast, ancient forest. There are paths you walk every day, your routines, your habits, the thoughts you're comfortable with. But there are also hidden trails, overgrown with vines, leading to places you've never explored. Those trails might feel dark or intimidating, but they're also where your deepest insights live. Ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. It just makes you feel incomplete. You might notice it in small moments, like when you're lying awake at night, wondering why you feel so restless. Or it might be bigger, like a chronic sense that you're not living the life you were meant to. This isn't just a personal issue, it's cultural. We live in a society that glorifies productivity and logic. We're taught to stay busy, to grind, to keep our eyes on external goals. But what about the goals inside you? What about the dreams, fears, or passions you've buried because they didn't fit into the world's expectations? Jung put it powerfully. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about that. If you don't engage with your subconscious, it's still shaping your choices, your relationships, your life, but you're not in the driver's seat. Let's take a step further. This disconnect doesn't just affect how you feel. It impacts your relationships, your creativity, your sense of purpose. When you're out of touch with your inner world, you might find yourself reacting to life instead of creating it. You might say yes to things you don't want, or no to opportunities that scare you. You might feel like you're living someone else's life, not your own. And over time, that disconnection can lead to burnout, anxiety, or even depression. The stakes are high. But here's the good news. There's a way to change this. There's a way to step off that treadmill and start listening to the voice inside you. That's what active imagination is all about. To really understand active imagination, we need to dive into the mind of Carl Jung. Jung wasn't just a psychologist. He was a visionary who saw the human mind as a universe unto itself. He believed that our subconscious isn't just a storage room for old memories or repressed emotions. It's a living, breathing part of us filled with symbols, archetypes, and wisdom that can guide us toward a fuller, more authentic life. Active imagination is his method for bridging the gap between your conscious mind and this deeper, unconscious world. So, what exactly is active imagination? It's not meditation where you try to clear your mind. It's not daydreaming where you just let your thoughts wander. It's a deliberate, active process where you engage with your subconscious like you're having a conversation. You start with an image, an emotion, or a fragment of a dream, and you let it unfold like a story. You don't control it. You listen to it. You ask it questions. You let it surprise you. Let's make this concrete with an example. Imagine you're feeling anxious about a big life change. Maybe you're thinking about moving to a new city. You sit down, close your eyes, and focus on that anxiety. Where do you feel it? Maybe it's a tightness in your chest. In active imagination, you'd give that feeling a shape. Maybe it becomes a stormy cloud or a heavy stone. You'd ask it, "What are you? What do you want me to know?" and then you'd wait. Maybe the cloud starts to speak, or the stone transforms into a figure, a wise elder, a child, or even a version of yourself. You engage with it, ask more questions, and let the dialogue unfold. This might sound strange at first, but it's rooted in how our minds work. Jung believed that our subconscious communicates through symbols and images. These aren't random, they're meaningful. They're like messages from a deeper part of you. By engaging with them, you're tapping into a source of wisdom that your conscious mind might not even realize exists. Let's look at another scenario. Say you keep having a recurring dream about a house with a locked door. In active imagination, you'd visualize that house, walk up to that door, and see what happens. Maybe the door opens to reveal a room filled with light, or maybe it's dark and dusty, filled with forgotten memories. One person I know used active imagination to explore a dream like this and discovered that the locked door was a symbol of their fear of vulnerability. By engaging with that image, they realized they'd been avoiding deep connections in their relationships. That insight led them to start opening up more, and their life changed in ways they never expected. Here's another example. Let's say you're struggling with self-doubt at work. You feel like you're not good enough, no matter how much you achieve. In active imagination, you might focus on that self-doubt and see it as a shadow figure following you around. You'd ask it, "Why are you here? What do you want?" Maybe it tells you it's trying to protect you from failure. Or maybe it's a voice from your past, like a critical parent or teacher. By having that conversation, you start to understand where your doubt comes from, and you can begin to let it go. Why is this so powerful? Because it's a way of integrating your conscious and unconscious minds. Jung called this process individuation, the journey to becoming your true, whole self. Without active imagination, you're only working with half the picture. Your conscious mind might be logical and focused, but it's your subconscious that holds your deepest desires, fears, and potential. When you ignore it, you're like a painter who only uses half the colors on their palette. You're limiting what you can create. Let's bring in another philosophical perspective. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, talked about the will to power, the drive to create, to become, to shape your own life. But you can't fully tap into that drive if you're disconnected from your inner world. Active imagination is a way to reclaim that power. It's about stepping out of the herd mentality, the pressure to conform to society's expectations, and listening to the unique voice inside you. The cost of not doing this is huge. When you ignore your subconscious, you're letting it run your life without your permission. Those recurring fears, those patterns you can't seem to break, they're not random. They're your subconscious trying to get your attention. Maybe you keep choosing partners who don't respect you, or you sabotage your own goals just when you're about to succeed. These patterns aren't fate, they're signals, and active imagination is how you decode them. On the flip side, the benefits are profound. When you start using active imagination, you begin to see yourself in a new light. You uncover hidden strengths, like a buried passion for writing, or a talent for problem solving. You start to understand your emotions, so you're not just reacting to life. you're choosing how to respond. You might even find clarity on questions you've been wrestling with for years. It's like turning on a light in that dark forest we talked about earlier. Suddenly, those hidden paths aren't just scary, they're exciting. They're invitations to grow, to create, to become who you were meant to be. Okay, so you're ready to try active imagination. How do you actually do it? It's not as complicated as it might sound, but it does take intention and practice. Here are 4 practical steps to get started, rooted in Jung's framework, but designed for your everyday life. These steps will help you bridge the gap between your conscious and unconscious minds, empowering you to live with more clarity and purpose. The first step is to set the stage. You need a quiet, uninterrupted space where you feel safe to turn inward. This doesn't mean you need a meditation room or a mountain retreat, though if that's your thing, go for it. It could be your bedroom, a cozy corner of your living room, or even a quiet park bench. The key is to eliminate distractions. Turn off your phone, silence notifications, and give yourself permission to focus on you. Grab a notebook or a journal and maybe a pen to jot down what comes up. Take a few deep breaths to settle your mind. You're not trying to empty your thoughts. You're just creating a space where your subconscious feels welcome. Think of it like inviting a friend over for coffee. You're setting up a comfortable environment for a meaningful conversation. This might take 5 minutes or less, but it's crucial. It's like telling your mind, this is a time for us to connect. Now you need something to focus on. This could be an emotion that's been weighing on you, like anxiety, anger, or sadness. It could be a dream image that's stuck with you, like that locked door we mentioned earlier. Or it could be a question you've been grappling with, like, why do I keep avoiding this goal? Or, what's holding me back from being happy? Don't overthink it. Just pick something that feels alive to you right now. Let's say you're feeling overwhelmed by work. Close your eyes and focus on that overwhelm. Where do you feel it in your body? Maybe it's a knot in your stomach or a heaviness in your shoulders. Give it a shape or an image. Does it look like a storm cloud, a pile of bricks, a rushing river? Write down or hold that image in your mind. This is your starting point. It's the doorway into your subconscious. If you're not sure where to start, try this. Think of a recent moment when you felt stuck or emotional. Maybe it was an argument with a friend or a moment of self-doubt. Focus on that moment and see what image comes up. The key is to choose something that feels meaningful, even if you don't fully understand why. This is where active imagination gets exciting, and maybe a little weird. You're going to have a conversation with that image or emotion. Yes, it might feel strange at first, but trust the process. Start by asking a question. What are you here to tell me? Or, why are you showing up in my life? Then, let the image respond. Don't force the answer. Just let it come naturally. For example, if your overwhelm showed up as a storm cloud, imagine standing in front of it. Ask, what do you want me to know? Maybe the cloud transforms into a figure who speaks to you. Or maybe it starts raining, revealing a memory. You might hear words. The key here is to stay open and curious. Don't try to control the story. Let your subconscious lead. It's like watching a movie where you're both the director and the audience. If you get stuck, try asking, what happens next? Or imagine you're writing a story about this image. For example, one person I know visualized their anxiety as a wolf. When they asked it why it was there, the wolf said, "I'm here to protect you." That led to a deeper realization about their fear of failure, which they'd never fully acknowledged. This step usually takes 10 to 15 minutes, but even 5 minutes can be powerful. The goal isn't to solve everything, it's to start the conversation. Your subconscious is like a friend who's been waiting to talk. Give it space to speak. After your session, gently bring yourself back. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and give yourself a moment to process. Then, reflect on what happened. What did you see, hear, or feel? What surprised you? Write it down in as much detail as you can. This isn't just about recording the experience, it's about making sense of it. For example, if that storm cloud turned into a figure who told you to slow down, what does that mean for your life? Maybe it's a sign you're overworking yourself, and you need to set boundaries. If that locked door opened to reveal a childhood memory, what does that memory tell you about your present? The goal is to find 1 or 2 insights you can carry forward. The final piece is integration, taking those insights and applying them to your life. If your subconscious showed you a fear of failure, what's one small action you can take to face it? Maybe it's signing up for a class or having a tough conversation. If it revealed a buried passion, like painting or writing, how can you make space for it? Maybe it's as simple as setting aside 30 minutes a week to create. Here's a pro tip. Start small. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Even a tiny step, like journaling for 5 minutes a day, can create a ripple effect. The more you practice active imagination, the more natural it feels. Over time, you'll start to trust your inner voice, and that trust will change how you move through the world. Let's bring this all together. Active imagination is more than a technique. It's a way to reconnect with the deepest parts of yourself. It's about stepping off the hamster wheel of life and listening to the wisdom that's been inside you all along. Carl Jung believed that this process could lead to individuation, a life where you're not just reacting to the world, but creating it from a place of authenticity and purpose. Imagine what your life could look like if you started trusting your inner voice. Maybe you'd finally start that project you've been dreaming about. Maybe you'd find the courage to set boundaries or let go of relationships that no longer serve you. Or maybe you'd just feel more at peace with who you are. You don't have to stay stuck in that cycle of doubt, fear, or disconnection. You have the power to choose a different path, one that leads to clarity, creativity, and a deeper sense of self. So here's my challenge to you. Try active imagination this week. Set aside 10 minutes, follow the steps we talked about, and see what your subconscious has to say. It might feel awkward at first, but that's okay. Growth often does. Then come back here and write in the comments, "I choose active imagination." Share what you discovered, even if it's small. Your story might inspire someone else to take that first step. If this video resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into personal growth. For more on active imagination, I highly recommend Inner Work by Robert A. Johnson. It's a fantastic guide, and there's a link in the description. And if you're curious about other ways to unlock your potential, Check out our video on overcoming self-doubt next. It's a great complement to what we've talked about today. You are more powerful than you realize. Your inner world is vast, rich, and waiting to be explored. What will you discover when you start listening?